why should I come to DICON as opposed to another agency?
Well, DICON is unique in that it is a very supportive agency. We will walk you through the process step by step and hold your hand through the process because it is tough for families. And once you have gotten to the point, it takes a while for most families to get to the point that they want to actually go through with it. So we will support you. We offer a full range of SWAN services, and we will walk with you through the certification process. We will work as hard as we can to match you with that child that will be the right fit for your family. We offer case management services after that child is placed, and then we offer the post-permanency services through SWAN after the adoption occurs.
And the same thing with foster care?
Yes, yes, yeah, and through in foster care we do the case management services, and I know I'm personally not a case manager, but we have wonderful case managers at DICON.
Are your parents required to come in like they do a little counseling session once a month, and once every so often they come in and talk about what's going on with the foster child and that kind of thing, or how does that work?
Well, if a foster child, if you have a foster child placed in your home, the case managers will do bi-weekly visits.
Bi-weekly.
So they're in your home a lot. So there's a lot of opportunity for you to sit and talk with them, and voice your concerns. If you would have any, to just do like check-ins, and the case managers are also vital in keeping up with the academic process with that child, any services that they may need if they need therapy, medication management services, anything like that. So we are a big part of your life as DICON if you are fostering or adopting a child. It takes a lot to get rid of us.
Well, it's an interesting question, that Nate posed in regard to why come to you versus other services. Do you have instances where you have young people that may be adopted and they're not in the area, from this area, that they may have to go to families outside the area, or vice versa? I mean, is everybody just Central PA, or do you have other places that you have parents coming to you?
We do.
Okay.
We do. Well, mostly we only work, DICON has an office. We have offices in the Allentown area, the Topton area, Mechanicsburg, and York. So typically we only work with families that are like in a range. Yeah. But there are instances where families have come to us and for whatever reason just really wanting to work with us, and they've been outside of our range, and we've worked with them. A lot of traveling and back and forth, but I guess we.
A lot of people want to adopt infants, but that's not always the case, is it? I mean, a lot of the young people that are in the system are oftentimes 10 years and older, as you were saying that you work with. How does a young person typically end up in foster care? I mean, what happens? Is it usually a family tragedy or something? What goes on?
Well, most of the time it's a series of the family having problems, whether it's economic problems, alcohol, substance abuse. There's a whole wide range of issues, and in those instances, the children end up being neglected, abused, and just not properly taken care of. So they will enter into the children and youth system, and the children and youth system in the state, they work with birth families, and they try to get them on their feet, and they try to help these families get to the point where they can take care of these children. And a lot of times that is spread out over a course of years where this is happening. And then by the time it's just not going to work out, the children are older, and now they are in the legal custody of children and youth, and they are needing homes where, so it's something that if it could have been taken care of much at a younger age for that child, probably would have been better. But it's such a it's a tough decision, to make in order to completely remove a child from the birth family, and try to help and try to work with the families, but it doesn't always work. And that's when they end up in the foster care system.
And that's why the
for
families
children.
really need a lot of support, because sometimes the kids come with, a lot of issues
Baggage,
and
yeah.
a lot of
Yeah.
baggage and stuff. Yeah, but it's
Yeah.
but it's still a beautiful thing, though, to have this kind of service and this kind of concern.
Yeah.
This doesn't always happen around the world. There's some countries where this
Well,
just
even in
doesn't
this
happen.
country, and a lot of people don't know, if you think back into the early 1900s, what they were doing with children
No.
was, what do you call them?
orphanage.
The orphanage, but they were
Orphanages.
shipping them out west.
Oh, yes.
And they called them the orphanage. They had the trains, and the kids would be
Yeah.
sent out there and be workers on the farms and things of that
Yeah.
nature.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think the Children Welfare Act came into place sometime in the 30s or 40s,
Mm-hmm.
where they stopped that practice, and now that they were able to really be able to keep them more into their geographic location and be able to have them be placed in homes with families.
Yeah.
We've come a long way.
They've come a long way. Yeah, it was very different. Yeah.
Yeah. Still a long way to go.
Yes.
Still a long way to
way.
go. That's right. So how could a person is watching this, and they people like to volunteer, they like to get involved, and there's always a need, especially in a situation like this. So how can the typical citizen who's watching this program, who cares,
Sure.
who wants to get
Right.
involved, what can they do?
Sure. Well, the ultimate way of getting involved obviously would be to become a certified adoptive and foster parent. If that's not something that you're willing and able to do at this time, you can be a resource parent to do respites. Have children come and spend weekends with you, and you still have to come through the process of certification. You can volunteer your time. You can be a driver for the agency. You
Okay.
can donate toys, presents, gifts, things like that.
Excellent suggestions. I forgot about, now talk about respite care just a little bit, because those
Sure.
folks are really valuable, aren't they?
Yes.
Yes, talk about that. Mhm.
Well, a respite family is one that that it's like a weekend or overnight visit or place for the child to go if the foster parent needs a break. And those families need to be certified, and they need to be trained in order to how to take care of the children.
Okay.
But it's a very temporary, just overnight kind of thing. And that's a good way to just kind of get in the door. Just if you're kind of wavering back and forth as to whether or not you want to be a foster parent.
Great idea.
That's a
Yeah.
good way to get in the door. And it's so important. And we always need more and more respite families.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. But we're going to run out of time here, so I want to make sure I get some things down, like your phone number and how can people reach DICON?
Sure. Well, you can call DICON at our main number. It's 717-795-0320, and you can inquire at that number.
So I'm interested, but I'm not so sure about my background. Is there
Sure.
anything that's going to preclude me from being a foster parent?
Well, if we do run state police, child line abuse clearances, and we do fingerprinting. So we work with families, but of course there are things that would preclude a family if you have a child abuse. If you're a registered child abuse or an offender,
Okay.
certain, I believe, like felonies. But there are things that we have run into, and we have worked, especially if they've happened, a long time in the past. But that is something that we. Just to keep the children safe.
Okay. Well, thank you
yes,
so much
we
for
do.
coming on, Elizabeth. We appreciate
Thank you
everything
for
that you've
having
done. We want to thank Elizabeth White from DICON Foster Care and Adoption Services for coming on and talking about this wonderful service that you have, and also letting us know that we can all be a part of it and be involved. And I hope that you'll take that to heart, because there's so many young people out there, families, that need your assistance. And by assisting them, you assist us all, because you make us a better community. So we hope that you'll do that. And don't forget also that on Sunday, June the 15th, at the State Museum of Pennsylvania, we're honoring Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. So from 2 to 4 p.m. Again, it's a free program at the State Museum of Pennsylvania, 300 North Street in Harrisburg, in honor of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Talking about service, man, oh man.
January, you said.
January. It's in January.
Yeah,
January
thank you.
15th. Thank you. That saved me.
It's like, wait a minute.
January the 15th, 2012, at the State Museum from 2 to 4. God bless you. See you next time. Thank you. Good stuff.
Welcome to Life Esteem.